Hey, it's Mr. Pletch. Today I'm just going to walk through the startup assignment, the first kind of big thing you're doing on Brightspace. And it may seem kind of unwieldy and a bit stupid, and it probably is kind of one of the weirdest things you're going to be doing in this whole online course, but there is a reason for it. So the first part is kind of about you, and I've heard it has to do with VLN getting funding. So there is a reason. It's to check the prereqs again. I know we've checked them. Then there's part about the scientific method kind of in the middle. So it's exactly what we've been working on, making sure that you have a strong grasp on experimental design. And then just a couple kind of quality of life things. Like, whether you know it or not, it's checking like, can you activate Flash, or do you need to change browsers? Forwarding emails. So if I send you a message, that it'll forward to maybe a second email that you're going to get your home email if you don't like your VSB one. So there's a lot to it, and it is important. It's just a bit weird, so I'm going to walk through it today. So I'm on the Brightspace Life Science 11 completion course for summer school. I'm in content, and we have like our overview with the course outline, course schedule, blah, blah, blah. The startup assignment is in module 1A, getting started in scientific method. Now, you should have already gone through all the information. So all of these sections are pretty much one-page information things. So you should have taken notes. And remember, last video, I did recommend that you either print them out, highlight, and annotate. That's a lot of paper. Or keep like a book where you're writing the key stuff yourself so you have that hard copy right there for you. You should have also done the quiz. So the first quiz on the scientific method, and that should unlock the startup assignment. So when it's unlocked, you just click on it. Beautiful, beautiful speed on my internet. And you're going to download it. So click to download it, and you're basically going to start filling it in. So I've already downloaded it by clicking there, and I've already filled in some things. So I'm just going to use mine. So this is what this beautiful assignment looks like. And why it's so important is it's proving that you've gone through the course outline and all this other stuff. So I'm just going to pull up the course outline for a second. Okay, now that I got the course outline up, you should have one as well. I do suggest print this off. It's on Teams, it's on Brightspace. But if I go to the back side, I have my checklist with all the dates. And on this assignment, you'll see that they split it up by like module 1, module 2, module 3, blah, blah, blah. We've lumped them in, as I said, together. So like module 2, for example, it's all due on the 9th. So you can use this to fill in the dates, or you can, just pause this video if you want to cheat your way around it and fill in the dates from here. So the startup assignment and that startup quiz, it's due Friday, July 3rd. Module 1, which is the module 1B, it's taxonomy. We see that the quiz or the notes in the assignment are due the 6th. Module 2 is evolution. All three of those things were due the 9th. So we put July 9th. The one thing to note is, as I said, VLN course is different than summer school. So it says midterm exam, 75 multiple choice, 25 word problems. Nope, it is going to be 75 multiple, or it is going to be the video. So we're going to do a video project that's not going to be too intensive. So we said that it's going to be due the 17th. As we get closer, I'll talk more about that because I will give you the weekend to do that as well. But yeah, it's all off there. And the final exam. Now, the final exam is important. It's the 3rd, and it will be about 75 multiple choice with no word problems. You have a lot to do in 5 weeks, so we don't want to overwhelm you too much. Multiple choice questions are hard enough, and they're coming from every module. The final will be very heavy on the second half, like 75%, but there will be some from the beginning. So August 3rd, more to that to come. So those are the dates. That's basically your first page. The next goes into about you. So you've selected this course. How does it fit into this educational goals? So obviously you're going to write something like, I love biology and I heard Mr. P is the best. Like blah, 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 blah. But keep it short, keep it sweet. I really do want to know, why did you select Life Sciences 11? It's way better than Chem 11. It's way better than Physics 11, even though I don't have a lot of control of it. Unfortunately, we don't get to do dissection. Normally, even in summer school, I do about 4 dissections. Don't know why I'm telling you that, but I do want to know why Bio 11 and Life Science 11 kind of stuck out for you. What grade are you in? What's your school? And are you enrolled in Bio 11 or Life Science 11 at any other school? So if you say yes, you can't do this course. If you've done it in the past and it's completed, so you did it last year and you got 60% and you want another try at it to raise your grade, that's fine. But you can't be doing 2 Bio 11 courses at the same time. This shouldn't be a problem. We're in the summer. Hopefully some of you have some lives. You're not doing 2 Bio 11 classes, morning and afternoon or whatever. But please answer that. This part, it's kind of stupid, but it's what are your courses that you have taken? Now, I know most of the students have just finished grade 10, and we are in the summer, so most courses are not in progress unless you're taking 2 summer school courses. So if you've done grade 10, for example, have you done English 10? Yes. Have you done Math 10? Did you pass it? Yes. PE, yes. Planning, yes. Yes, yes. You need Science 10 to pass. Science 10 Prelude counts. Science 9 Enriched at David Thompson counts. Everyone is okay. So C means complete. If you're doing 2 online courses, so maybe you're doing Biology 11 with me, let's say in progress, but you're also kind of crazy and you're doing Pre-Calc 11 with maybe Miss Ramirez, great teacher from my school, you'll say in progress. Elective credits. What electives did you take in 10, in 11 and 12? It says minimum 3, so please try to put at least 1 in each grade if you're in grade 12. Do your best here. It's not worth marks. It's just tracking for the VLN. So do your best here. Don't worry too much about the elective. Don't stress. Just look at your report card from last year and go from there. Your birthday, if you don't know that, I can help you. I can get on my head and tell you that, but you know the drill. Your parents' e-signature. So I share a room with Mr. Friesen, another Life Science 11 teacher here, so he's going to come and sign as my guardian that they're aware of all this. So Aaron Friesen, my dad, will say, he's going to sign it for me. So that's all good. Now we get into kind of the science part of it. This is where the marks are starting to come. If you miss a whole page of this, I can't mark this, it's a 0. So you do have to do everything on this, even though it's not worth marks. But if you've read all those notes in Module 1, it shouldn't be too hard. What is a hypothesis? Now, try your best. I'm really, really going to encourage you to use the language in VLN. We do have answer keys. I'm not stupid, that stupid, I'm a little stupid, but I don't need the exact wording from the notes, but that's a lot of the time what they're looking for. So try to answer, what is a hypothesis? It's going to have some kind of predicted outcome between the connection between the 2 variables, right? Independent, dependent, basically. You know what to do. Now the next one is how to write a formal hypothesis, so if-then. So just to kind of rewind, I don't know how in-depth the notes go. I'm going to do a quick breakdown of blah, 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 the 2 different variables. So we always have an independent variable, which is what you manipulate or change. So the independent variable is what we are changing in a scientific question, so for experimental design. And the dependent variable is also called the measured variable. So it is what we're measuring. So in this example, the independent, or what we're changing, has to do with how much medication each person is getting. That is what we're changing. And then what we want to see is the effect. So we need to measure something. And so here it says we're measuring level of drowsiness, which is a qualitative thing, but whatever. So that's a quick breakdown of how they are connected. Now, when we do write hypotheses, we can keep it simple with this if-then format. We do if, and then we talk about the manipulated variable, the independent variable. So what are we changing? Then we say what we expect to measure or see. So if you can remember that, you're totally safe with the next part and throughout this assignment, and even going forward. So if independent variable, then dependent variable. It's a relationship between it and a hypothesis. So for example, if I water bean plants with Gatorade, this is a simple one because we would change what we water. So we'd measure it with water, we'd measure or water it with Gatorade, water it with vodka, whatever. Then what do you expect to see? So what are you expecting to measure? So then they will grow taller. This is for kind of junior sciences. You should strive to have more specific details in your hypothesis. So bringing it back to that assignment, you're going to write the hypothesis from the questions. So what kind of food do rabbits like to eat most? So how can we turn that into a hypothesis with an if-then statement? Well, this one is very simple, but it's if rabbits like to eat a certain food, better, then they will eat more of it. Now, this is okay. I'm not too picky on the starting assignment, but if you want to be better and make it a much stronger hypothesis that can hold up in an actual experimental design, especially in grade 11, you'd probably write something like, if rabbits prefer leafy vegetables to root vegetables, then I will expect them to eat more grams in 1 hour of that. More detail is better, but that's the idea here. Look at the question, write the hypothesis. If independent variable, then dependent variable, what you intend to measure. So that's that. Now the next one is all about Flash. So Flash is being discontinued at the end of the year. Some browsers do struggle with it. I use Firefox, never had a problem. I tried Chrome, never had a problem. But if I click the link, it will bring me to a website called Class Zone. It says select your subject. We're going to select by the instructions, high school science, location international, not America. That's good right now, I feel. And find your book. The book that you're going to be using is Biology 2010. It's right in those instructions. And let's take a look. So I have my book, and it says select Animated Biology, Chapter 1, Experimental Design. Animated Biology, Chapter 1, Experimental Design. Now, it is 1860. Oh God, I don't want this. Lucky you get to do this, and it is all about Louis Pasteur's experiment. So about spontaneous generation, which is in the grade 8 curriculum. So if you've taken grade 8 in the last couple of years, you've learned about this experiment, how important it is, and how it actually took so long. Like a couple hundred years, 3 big experiments to prove that life doesn't just spontaneously generate. I'll post a video in the extra resources section on the Teams that breaks down the assignment, or breaks down his study maybe in more detail. But the goal is you kind of just go through this. So allow it to speak to you if you can stand it, or read. Click on the lab table. Other scientists have already and it's going to talk to you about broth in these swan-necked flasks. Hence why if I post the video, if you're unfamiliar with this very famous experiment, it might be worth watching an overview video of what he actually did to prove spontaneous generation wrong or incorrect. So you have different flasks, and basically you're going to select 3, and you're going to see what happens, and you're going to answer questions based on the experimental design. So it'll talk about like, what is the question being investigated? So when the guy is speaking, you'll hear basically, do air have microorganisms? What is the dependent variable? So what was he looking to measure in the broth? Was he measuring the amount of broth, or was it something different? Was it bacterial growth, for example? What is the independent variable? So what did Louis Pasteur change in this experiment? Write your formal hypothesis. So if, then, don't forget, use your notes to help you. You can ask me for help. And then what is the purpose of a control group? So like I said, all of these you will have already covered and be quite familiar with. Shouldn't be too challenging. 1-mark questions, pretty straightforward, pretty short answer, so don't get too carried away. Control group, I don't need to go through all of these because they are just based on this little simulation of his experiment. You're all very strong in this, I'm sure. So I'm not going to walk through every one. The last one was, now, did you use sterilized or unsterilized broth when you were simulating this experiment? Well, just a quick, because I've seen people get this wrong, and remember, you're using sterilized broth. Because if you use unsterilized broth and put it in a flask where air can't get in, and it grows, how do you know it wasn't already in the broth? So you need to sterilize the broth. So that's kind of one that is very, very simple, but people often get wrong. So I wanted to kind of focus on that. Now, questions 11 through 20, same idea. You have an experimental scenario, you have some data, and you're just going to read this information here. What's the problem? Well, probably going to be right at the top. So what's going on? Where did she get this question from? Identifying the independent and dependent variable, making a hypothesis, constant factors. So what are your control variables? So this is weird. It says, yeah, 0.5 marks each, 3 marks. I just need 3 controls. So things that you're going to keep the same in every single run of this experiment that won't, so you don't impact the results, okay? So you only need 3. If you want to do 6, go for it. To me, that's enough. Good. Now, the last part is graphing your data. I don't care if you draw this by hand, take a photo, and put it in here. I don't care if you use Excel. Here, it's getting you to use this kids create a graph thing, which I do use sometimes, especially when I've taught elementary school. It's simple, step-by-step instructions. If you're happy with that, go ahead. Use this, very straightforward, to make a graph of your values here. It'll have 2 lines, so 2 lines on your line graph. If you're more comfortable just whipping out a piece of graph paper and drawing it by hand with a ruler and graph paper, that's fine. If you're more comfortable with Excel, go for it. You know what the drill is. I just need a graph here of this data, and you're going to post that picture here. Okay? Summarize the data and talk about any weaknesses. This is really important, especially in science fair, grade 8, 9, 10, even higher. The experimental design is incredibly flawed, and talking about things that are missing, things that went wrong with the measurements are very, very, very important. If you need help with this, once again, reach out. And the last thing, so that's all the scientific method stuff done, out of the way. You have to forward your VLN to an external email. Even if it already is forwarded, I just need a screenshot. So it is very quickly, you have the step-by-step here, and you're going to post a screenshot in this answer key. So if I pull up the Brightspace again to go over the instructions, I'm going to click my email. I'm going to click the little cog on settings down here. And if I scroll down, it says forwarding options. So what you need to do to get your 2 marks is this check mark should be on, and you should select like your home email, the email you're going to check most often. I do suggest using your learn.vsb email here because all the team stuff goes to that as well. Once you've got it, take a photo or a screenshot, copy and paste the photo into there. Beautiful. Screenshot. Don't make it too big. It's already ugly. Done. Plagiarism. You should know what plagiarism is. So in your own words, you can look at the code of conduct for help. And the VLN is making you do another anti-plagiarism thing. So I know you signed one for us. That is different. That's for summer school records. This is for VLN records. So please just type your name. You understand what can happen if you get caught. Your e-signature, blah, 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 the date. And that's it. Just make sure it's all done. You're going to save this as a Word document or a PDF. If you attach pages, can't be opened, it's a waste of your time. Word document, so docx, PDF, and you can attach it and submit it. This is for your teacher to comment on and give you the mark back. So I'll be doing that. So once you're all done, just to how it attached. Wow, these videos are long. I need to shut up more often. I talk too much. It should be a way to add attachments. So you should see somewhere to add attachments. Attach it, and you can submit it. And you're all done the startup assignment. So sorry for taking so long. Please ask if you have any other questions, but good luck.